Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a very wearable Valentine's Day look. I really enjoy doing artsy creative looks, like on my Instagram. I have a few Valentine's Day artsy looks on there if you want to go check them out at karas.beauty.corner. But I know that's not like a very wearable or practical look, or like if I were to do a tutorial. So today I'm going to be doing just like a light blushy look for Valentine's Day, so maybe more people can relate to it and maybe try it out. First off, I'm going to start with the Maybelline Master Prime Primer, and I like to put my primer on before I do my eyes so that it can soak in and not mix with the foundation. So I'm going to take a Real Techniques beauty blender and just blend in my primer. So now that we've got that all blended in, I'm going to move into eyebrows. So I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in Soft Brown, and I'm going to fill in my brows. So I'm going to take this small angled brush, I believe it is called the Brow Artist Brush by Unique, and I'm just going to get a pretty good amount of the product on my brush so I can get a good pigmented brow. So I'm going to start about mid-brow, and I'm going to draw a line underneath my eyebrow. And then for the top portion of the outer brow, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but just on the top. Next, what you're going to want to do is fill it in. Now, for the inside, it's a little different. So I'm going to draw a line up to the front, but not as harsh. I'm just going to start lightly brushing the product from the outside along with the excess on my brush, and I'm going to just fill in the front of my brow slightly lighter than the rest. So obviously this is more of an Instagram brow, that's just what I prefer. So if you like a more natural brow, I would suggest just doing whatever you do and skip this. And then at the very front, just to make sure it looks nice and seamless, you're just going to take a spoolie. This brush from Unique has a spoolie on it, and I'm going to just go in an upward motion. I'm going to take the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I'm going to conceal around my eyebrows. Now for this, I'm going to be using another Unique brush, the Liner and Shader brush. So on this end it has a nice pointy flat brush that I like to use for concealing under my brows. And on the other side, it's just an eyeshadow brush. So just in case you're curious, this shade of Tarte concealer is Fair Beige, and I'm gonna get a nice amount underneath my brow. I'm gonna take that flat pointy end we were talking about, and I'm going to just start dragging the product underneath my brow. I'm going to take the same beauty blender and I'm going to just blend out the concealer. Okay, so now that I've got around my brow concealed, I'm going to focus on the front of my brow. So as you can see, the fade is still there, but it almost comes out too far. But instead of concealing it with actual concealer, I'm just going to use the excess on my beauty blender and blend inward. So I'm just going to go back in and touch that up. So I'm not sure if I have mentioned this before. I believe I put the hashtag at the end of one of my videos before, but one of my friends told me that I could do his makeup if I got 150 subscribers by the end of freshman year, which is this year. and our whole friend group really wants to see it happen because it would be hilarious and it'll just be a good time, you know? So, if you could please subscribe and help us out with that, that would be amazing. I believe it was about a year ago that my Instagram hit 100 followers. So now I am at about 1,600, pretty close to it. And I would just like to pop up some pictures of last year's makeup on the screen because I just think it would be cool to see the improvement. My last step to my brows is to take the NYX banana powder and put it over my brows to make them a little more ashy and just to set the concealer around them so that they don't smudge. So I'm really not sure what I want to go for this, but I know I want it to be just kind of light. I still want to do a cut crease, but not as bold as I would typically do. I want to make it just a little more practical for other people to try because I know when I do like these crazy colors and stuff, not everyone is accustomed to that. I think I'm going to do just a light pink for Valentine's Day, and I just want to make it like a nice little cute look, you know, for anyone, and I think anyone could probably pull off like a nice little light pink. This is the P. Louise eye primer. Now this is the best eye primer I have ever used. It just covers your lid so perfectly. It's nice and smooth. It's not too sticky, but it's not too thin either. Like, it's just the right texture for especially like bright pigments to stick to. Now for this, obviously we're not using bright pigments, but it's just way easier to blend on. It's a smooth, nice, tacky surface. So I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to put it all over my lid. And I'm going to take the same beauty blender I've been using the whole time, and I'm going to pat that in. The palette that I know with the best pinks in it for this kind of look would be the Morphe X Jeffree Star palette because it has just a bunch of look at my table, it's a mess. It has a bunch of nice pinks up in here, especially the shimmers. And it's also got a nice, like, where is it? It's got a nice bone color here, too, to blend that out. So I believe this is the palette I'm going to be using for this look. Also, I will use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette because the shimmers in this palette are amazing. They are the best shimmers I've ever used. They're just so creamy, and especially if you wet your brush, they just work amazingly. I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to start off with shade Back. I'm going to just pack that in my crease. So I'm going to take this nice bone color called Lynn. I'm going to take shade Calabasas right here. And I'm going to take the brush I had the bone color on, and I'm going to use the excess to just blend that out a little bit. I will say this will probably end up being one of the most natural looks I've ever done in recent times. Things I did, like the pictures I put earlier, are a little more simple, but that's just because of ability level, not on purpose. So this will probably be one of the most simple things you'll ever see me do because I just love the fine detail, like artsy cut creases and all that. So I'm going to do a cut crease, but if you don't want to do that or don't know how to do that, then I would just say just take the shimmer and put it on the center of your lid. but I'm going to do a cut crease because I have very hooded lids and I like to give the illusion that I have a bigger eyelid. So I'm going to take the P. Louise base again, the same primer I used for my eyes, and I'm going to take a small flat brush and just cut the crease. So I'm just going to get a tiny little bit on the center of my lid of the P. Louise base primer. And I already accidentally did it, but I'm going to look up to map out where I need to have the curve be. So that will be the highest point of my curve. So that's really the trick to a cut crease, especially for hooded lids, because you need to make sure you get it high enough if you want to see the curve of it. I'm going to start shaping the curve at the top. So I suppose you could say this is like a halo eye, to where it just goes in the middle and like kind of droops down on either side. So I'm going to take the burgundy I had on the outer corners, and I'm going to blend out the edges of the halo shape I've created. I'm going to take that shimmer I was talking about in the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, and I'm going to take the shade Rose Quartz. Now before I go into that shimmer, I'm going to take Dewy Set by Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is a setting spray. Now I personally prefer to not use this as an actual setting spray for my whole face. And the reason for that is because it's like a harsh mist almost. No, it works, don't get me wrong, I just don't prefer it because I prefer the Morphe setting spray that's more of an aerosol, because it's just finer and doesn't get your face like as wet. So I mainly use this for wetting brushes when using shimmers to make them more opaque and shiny. So I'm going to take Rose Quartz. I just wanted to say in general that I feel like there can be a lot of hostility in the beauty community, specifically on social media like Instagram, which is where I am mainly on. So I just wanted to say that I don't think that anyone should try to belittle anyone else. You know, the beauty community is already becoming more inclusive of men, you know, other people other than women, and also, you know, people of different ages. Now, that's not to say that people like myself are professionals. You know, every artist should be supportive of other artists. Like, everybody starts somewhere. You don't want to look down on people for their ability or anything about that. You know, I feel like the makeup community, the beauty community is just already becoming so much more inclusive that there's no reason to just bring other people down. I mean, that's not to anyone specifically necessarily. That's just a basic message, because I feel like there's just so much of it. Especially when you're talking about inclusivity and, like, you know, men in makeup and younger people in makeup. There's just a lot of stereotypes and assumptions that come from those. And I feel like it's just important to be inclusive in something that's already so open. And I'm not saying that people that are young, or like myself, or people around my age are professionals, because that's just not the case. It's not possible, but it is just a creative outlet and something that a lot of people have a passion for, and I just feel like it's important to be respectful of other people's passions, even if you have taken that step and became a professional. I feel like it's just important to be respectful of other people, especially if they're trying to aspire to be like you one day. Why would you look down on them for that? But yes, that was just a general message. I've seen a lot of it happen, not even with myself, with other people, and I just thought that was an important message to display in this video. Also, I just want to put this out there that this is a Valentine's Day look, but if you don't have a Valentine, because I don't, I know I don't, and, you know, that's fine, but, This isn't just for people who have to go out for Valentine's Day with their significant other, you know? Even if you don't have a significant other, just sit down, do some makeup, go out being a boss, you know? That's what I suggest. I'm gonna use Wet n Wild black liquid eyeliner. So I'm just gonna draw a line up straight out from my lower lash line. So I've got that line, and now I'm going to drag it down into the outer corner. So you have a shape like that. I'm going to just draw a line across my lid as close to my lash line as I can, just to keep it small right there. So there is one wing. You know what I just realized? I like covered up the slit in my brow without even going over it. Not on purpose, but actually it probably was a smart idea because this is supposed to be like more natural, but I literally just forgot to go back over it. So I just don't have one today, I guess, which is fine, you know? Gotta switch it up a little bit. Also, that's another topic, because if you have a problem with me cutting my own eyebrow, why do you care? It's my eyebrow. Get over it. Sorry. I will be direct about that because it's my eyebrow. If you have a problem with it, that's your problem, not mine. One of the things that kind of made me a little nervous to start my Instagram in the first place is I followed, I believe her name is Makeup by Zoe. Like, that's her Instagram handle, and her name's Zoe, I think. And she was like 13 the last time I saw her account, and she had like 1 million followers, or close to it at that time, I don't remember, but she had like 1 million followers, and you know, she was big, and she's so good, or at least then. I can't really say anything now, I haven't seen her account in a while, but she was so good, and there's just people in the comments just ripping her apart because she was so young and wearing makeup, and that's kind of deterred me from starting mine at first. Especially because I do get those opinions just around me in general, but I really haven't experienced that on Instagram except for like one time, and it was just spiteful anyways. So I think that you shouldn't let that deter you from starting anything, expressing yourself, because it's really not important. I'm going to move on to lashes, but they are the Trace Chic Cosmetics lashes in Sassy. This last pair I've had, they look kind of rough, but that is because I at least had to have worn them 20 times, if not more. I believe they have more natural styles. They have a lot of styles, but I prefer large lashes, so don't let these big lashes deter you from checking them out, because they do have at least more natural lashes. So, and especially if you're a lash fanatic and you love big lashes and you love lashes in general, definitely check them out because you will love them. They're great quality. They last literally up to 20 times or more. I'm going to go ahead and take these lashes. They're in the style Sassy. I use Duo Brush On glue. It's clear, so it looks blue when you put it on the lashes, and then when it turns clear, you put them on and they stick. Put just a small amount on the band of the lashes. See, it's blue, and then when it's ready to go, it turns clear. I would suggest pressing down the outer corner first, just so you can get that in the position where you know it's supposed to be. So you'd want it just like a little bit outside of your eye, just a little bit past your eye. And then you go to the center and almost pull it to make sure it's straight. And then once you get it in the right place, just lightly tap to make sure that it's secure. So yes, these are the Trace Chic Cosmetics lashes in the style Sassy. 16 bucks, very durable. Code Kara's Beauty Corner 14 for 20% off your purchase. Okay guys, so now we're going to move into foundation. And my personal favorite is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation. So I'm just going to put this on, just like a little drop on each section of my face. Then I'm going to take my same beauty blender and I'm going to blend it out. So now that we've got that all blended out, I'm going to take the same concealer from earlier in this video, Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Fair Beige. And now I'm going to take that same powder that I used on my brows earlier, which is the NYX Banana Powder. I'm going to take the Essence Sunlighter Bronzer. So this is the shade Peaceful. I'm going to tell you about my favorite highlighter at the moment. It's really not a highlighter, it's a loose pigment eyeshadow, I believe is what it's called, and it's by Trace Chic Cosmetics in the shade Dawn. Now this is meant to be an eyeshadow, but this is like a nice like ivory silver kind of color, and it works amazing as a highlighter. So it's just kind of like a loose little powder. Like if you've ever used loose powder like to set, like to bake your contour, it's kind of like that, except it is eyeshadow. Now I'm just going to take a little bit on a tiny fan brush and I wet the brush to make it more intense, and I'm just going to sweep that right here. Now since it is a loose, like it's a pigment, it is very intense. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to buff it out like a little bit with the brush, and then take your finger and blot it out. So now I'm going to take the light pink color I used mostly on this whole entire eye, called Back, from the Morphe X Jeffree Star palette, and I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. So I'm going to take this Essence Cosmetics white eyeliner and put it in my waterline. So now I'm going to take my favorite mascara of all time, which is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. I'm going to take the Unique Lip Liner in the shade Pouty. I'm going to take the Trace Chic Cosmetics Lip Gloss in Rosy Nude. Now these also perform very well. They're not sticky. So there's the gloss. I love this color. It's a nice rosy nude, as it's called. And the final step I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight with that eyeshadow I used as a highlight on my cheekbones. I'm going to highlight under my brow bone and in my inner corner. So my last and final step is setting spray. I prefer the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Please let me know in the comments if you like this look, and especially if you try it out for yourself. And just as a reminder, my lashes, this highlight slash eyeshadow, and this lip gloss are all from Trace Chic Cosmetics, and my code for them is Kara's Beauty Corner 14. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.